Welcome into the Friday edition of Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 The Game, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Robby and Rexrode, presented by Green Ventures Landscaping. For homes and businesses that want to stand out, not blend in, visit greenventureslandscaping.com. I'm Joe Rexrode. Robby continues to enjoy Disney World with the family. Today we have a very special treat. Very excited to have Teresa Walker of the Associated Press in for the whole show. You were taking an incredible plunge today, young lady.
An incredible plunge. This getting up before 5 o'clock. The bonus is you see the sky, the wonderful sky. But it's like, I seriously don't know how all y'all do this at this time of the morning. I am very nocturnal, and this is not easy. So, but for you, I do this.
Well, I appreciate that. So what is your normal wake up time?
Well, normal wake up time. There's when you're a woman of a certain age, there's a wake up time. There's a get up because I need coffee time.
Sure.
And then there's, all right, I'm ready for the daytime. So those vary, but the wake up time is usually 6:30 every morning.
Okay. But then you give yourself a little bit of a that's great.
I got to drag myself over the edge of wakeness.
So now I see you don't have a coffee right now. Are you caffeine free so far?
No.
Okay, you've already done that.
I drank 14 ounces of coffee with my mix of little dairy in there. I import my coffee from Key West. I've got a nice medium dark blend. So I had 14 ounces on the way over here, and I make it strong.
Okay. Well, I mean, do you need more?
No. I'm good. I need to hydrate for a little bit.
There we go. Okay. That sounds good. Ian Safar producing today, as always. And Ian, how you doing, buddy?
Good morning. Doing just fine. Thanks. Happy Friday. Headed on a swivel out there. Felt a little busy to me for a Friday on my way in. Lots of extra traffic.
Well, I will tell you, I'm glad you said that. On 24 West, terrible accident that I passed right before the Harding Place exit. Car had flipped. Another car, so it looked like a two-car accident. Looked like everybody was out of the car and was okay. I hope so, but definitely slowing things up on already bad 24 West. So there's your traffic report.
Nice.
Teresa, you guys both would have come up 65 North, right? I believe.
That is correct. I live in Franklin, so I believe.
Same here, Ian.
Okay.
It's a Williamson County show. It's an all Wilco show. Watch out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why. It seemed extra busy. One of the lights getting on 65, there was 8 cars or something like that. And usually it's only me and maybe one other. So, but yeah,
that is weird. Like on a Friday and, the end of July.
Yeah.
Everybody's really, really excited about going to work.
I was going to say, it might be the sign that summer's starting to wind down a little bit.
Yeah, that is true. Well, you've got the I know right with the tax-free weekend, right?
It's this weekend. Yeah. I know I'm going to be buying a laptop so I can, after a certain period, I'll be moving into a new stage of life. So I need a new laptop. I've never had to buy one. I've only had my own iPad.
Yeah. And so you announced your retirement. That is the inspiration for this, is that on social media this week on X. And I don't know, are you on anything else?
Blue Sky IG, and the Facebook's kind of personal. I still have a Facebook where I post my stories and stuff, but the work one I don't really go to. It was the early stages of Facebook, and I was trying to create a professional page and kind of screwed that up.
Okay. Well, you're a social media maven, but you told the world that you're retiring. You're retiring effective.
My last day full-time is October 2nd. And I've had some people say, but wait a minute, you're doing the rest of the Titan season. What's up? And I will be covering every game, home game, through the rest of the year. I have not traveled ever during the season with the Titans because I've got the rest of Tennessee, Vanderbilt.
Yeah, that's how the AP does it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but I will be doing the Titan games through the rest of the year. We have a Monday kind of analysis piece, and I'll handle that for AP. I've already talked to one editor. I do want to do some Vandy hoops because I expect that to be interesting this year.
Yes.
So I mean, it's tough to pull away. So I'm calling this kind of a soft retirement. But this was my 30th camp. I wanted to at least finish the home games the old school journalism. You put a 30 at the end of a story. That was the sign indicating the story was over. I wanted to get a 30th NFL season in.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's been a tremendous run. And so I wanted to bring you in, to do a show, to sit in with us and talk about your career. Talk about the teams, talk about your experiences, talk about I actually I don't know if this is morbid, but I sort of kind of looked at it like the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future, So we can talk about your career. I want to do that a lot in the first hour. Then the teams, where we are right now, and then maybe look a little. We have TD, Turron Davenport at 8 a.m. as always, and then maybe look a little bit in the future. Interesting. I mean, I don't know if you saw this, but Jeff, another Nashville's happening for sure, and MLB. We'll get to that later.
Yes.
There's a Rex rant, although if you'd like to make it the tirade, Teresa's tirade. I don't know. Walker's
a Tess raid.
Tess raid.
Tess is my nickname by close friends. So a Tess rant.
Tess rant. So if you want it,
Tessa rant.
You got it. Like you, 7:45. I put on a segment. I hope that we can get some shots in at PK. You can get shots in at PK whenever you'd like. By the way, I noticed. So Jill Jelnick, I saw that she had a picture with everybody. But where was PK? She like everybody but PK getting this picture?
She asked everybody to come in and join. So I'm not sure where PK was or what he was doing.
I'm too good for you.
I mean, that was the last picture. I mean, we took 2 or 3 pictures and it's like, no. Jared Puffer, please, Titans PR, take the picture so we can get everybody in.
Puff got it, huh?
Puff Daddy took care of us. So.
There's only like there's a couple people in there that I didn't recognize. I'm like, gosh, I know everybody still because I haven't really been there in a couple of years.
I know. Yeah, well, one of the gentlemen was a Fox 17 photographer that was to her right. But yeah, I could. Yeah, it is interesting thing. That media corps hasn't really changed since we arrived here. There's a few key pieces that have been throughout.
Yeah, no, that is. We've talked about that before, but so if you go back to the beginning of the Titans, and of course you were here a full, well, let's see, you would have covered the Vandy season, I assume, in 98, but you were here basically a full decade before that 99 season.
I walked through the door of the Associated Press in Nashville December 4th, 1989. So I spent the first 2.5 years mostly doing games over the phone, nights and weekends. So, but yes, covered Vanderbilt starting in 1992 and everything else in this, Middle and West Tennessee, but helped cover the Yes Nashville campaign to fund the stadium to bring the team here. And first time I talked with anyone with the Oilers at that time, Jeff Fisher at the TSU campus, boxes everywhere because they literally just moved from Houston to Nashville and we're about to start training camp.
Yeah. And so you were there. And yeah, like you go back to, PK, of course, David Beauclair, John Glennon.
John Glennon was working for the Commercial Appeal that first year in 97.
Covering them for the Commercial Appeal. I think Jimmy Wyatt.
Not until 99 for Wyatt.
His first year was the Super Bowl year.
Yes.
Right?
Talk about walking through the door into something special.
Yeah. Well, maybe he's the good luck charm. Although he's been there the whole time through all the ups and downs. But yeah, that's a pretty good debut.
Yes.
Am I forgetting someone? I mean, that's the core crew.
Well, Rhett Bryan, who he was he started.
Rhett was there the whole time?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
We were on what we called Heartbreak Ridge over in Bellevue, which is now I think the Ford Ice Center behind that medical office building, and it was cold in that October, November, December in 97, 98, and it's like ooh.
So they're practicing over in Bellevue.
Traveling to Memphis in 97 to play at the Liberty Bowl.
Yeah.
Miserable season. And then 98, at Vanderbilt. And we were chatting yesterday that, one of the games, Minnesota, it was, we had a storm come through and some people were having to chip ice off of their seats. And
that's Randy Moss's rookie year, by the way.
Yeah, he had a great cat. He mossed somebody in that game.
Of course he did. I think Ryan Leaf and the Chargers came.
Yes, that was one of the rookie quarterbacks have a wonderful tradition against this franchise of managing to come out with a win. And Ryan Leaf, that's one of his very few NFL wins.
One of his highlights came at Vanderbilt Stadium.
I think it was week 2 of the 98 season. So yeah, that was something. And Vanderbilt, that was also the game against the Bears where they couldn't find Aldo Greco and Craig Hendrick had to try the kick late at the end of the game. And Bud Adams said, couldn't find the kicker who's over there picking his nose.
Seriously, what? I don't know this story. What the heck was he doing?
It was a long field goal, and I have to. David Beauclair was helping me that season, so and I was pregnant. It was tough to see the field when you're a pregnant woman. Sometimes vision changes. So Beauclair got the great quote about. I guess he was over there picking his nose, and
From Bud. That's a Bud quote.
Yeah, and Hendrick had to try the field goal, which I mean, and he has kicked field goals, but that didn't make it, and they had a chance at a win, but it slipped through the fingers or through the nose.
Yeah, there you go. So Del Greco just he just didn't want to do it.
No, it was just it seemed to be more. It was
So
it seemed more miscommunication. Now I've slept since then, but I mean Al was a consummate professional. You know, after the playoff loss to the Ravens with the 2000 season, which that and maybe 2008, those are the two best teams maybe for this franchise since they've moved to Tennessee.
Yeah,
and Al had not one but two field goals blocked in that game, one return for a touchdown. He was sitting and waiting in the locker room, and I get downstairs and I look, and you can see him sitting there in the chair, just waiting for his turn to go to the interview room. And it's like that you could just tell he knew that was it. That was his last game.
Yeah. Those. I figured those games would come up. I mean, they always come up when you're doing a retrospective. Those in particular, those two losses to the Ravens. Big key, to me. One point I wanted to hit is well, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
And I mean to be able to in this day and age, in this business, retire. It's as you and I both have a whole bunch of friends who have not been able to, go out on their terms. I mean, that's a great thing for you.
Thank you. And it does feel like the horses are being shot out from under our colleagues left and right over the last few years, particularly. And even this year, the Associated Press, we had buyouts offered in April, layoffs in May. And I had a colleague saying, why don't you raise your hand back in April? Well, I had a couple of personal things I needed to do, but we've had now 3 buyout sheets go out. My name has not been on one of them. I keep hearing, you're too valuable. And it's like, well, thank you. I've tried to be a utility player.
You're like, thank you and bye.
Well, but that's the thing. It's like
at some point,
and that's the thing. It's like I'm finishing up my 37th year with the Associated Press, 40 as a journalist, and then you count the 5 years that I worked my way through college. And when I say worked,
UT Vol, by the way, in case anybody wondered.
Yes, class. I was in class with class was with Chris Lowe.
Yeah.
Yes. And it was. I worked my way 40 hours a week to taking a full schedule in college. So it's like 45 years of grinding. And it's like, yeah, I am incredibly grateful to be able to pick a time. And it's like, I'm done.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we are going to, so I have a lot of, I've got a lot of questions for you about your time here and some of the things you've seen. So we will get into that next with Teresa Walker, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rex, 102.5 The Game. Teresa Walker in for Robby Stanley. Oh, this is a jam. This is a little, Bill Withers here? A little Bill Withers? Yeah, we should have, asked you
Lovely
for...
day. Lovely day.
Yeah, we should ask you for, if you got some requests, just send them Ian's way.
I have so many favorite songs. It's kind of tough. Every time I listen to a song, my husband says, and I say, oh, I just love this song. And he's like, yet another one.
You love every song.
If it's good music, baby.
I've heard that before. Okay, so what would be, what would be 2 or 3 that come right to mind that we've got to play as an intro?
Well, the one I used on my my IG post on Tuesday. There she goes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes. Passionate Kisses by Mary Chapin Carpenter. That's a long time favorite.
Okay.
But I was listening to Taylor this morning. It's one of those things.
T Swift?
T Swift. I can't
new T Swift or old T Swift?
Combo. But I truly absolutely love this last album because as somebody who dated, I can sympathize with Taylor. I'm obviously way lower profile, but dating lots of guys that turned out to be frogs. And then you get in your 30s and you've essentially given up on maybe ever finding that true love. And then you find it and it's the most incredible thing. So yeah, Fate of Ophelia, Opalite, it's hits me right here.
Okay. I don't know those songs, but I'm sure I've
heard
them.
Bits of them.
Yeah. But you gotta wait for. Guys are idiots. You have to let guys get older. I was a total idiot in my 20s.
My husband was 34
Worthless.
when we finally met, and we should have met. It's a whole other story, but we should have met in March of 1990. Didn't meet until 94.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We could turn this into a relationship advice show.
Well, my biggest relationship advice would be to be choosy. And if they don't fit you and if they don't make you laugh and if they don't cherish you and support you, bye-bye. This career that I've had, it is not possible with, and I have a wonderful son who's 27, not possible without my husband being not just my pit crew. He has carried everything in our relationship, family, house, you name it. I do the fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Sports writers definitely need, you need a good spouse. You and I were both in Pyeongchang, South Korea, crushing the media beer tent while our, families are back here.
Husbands,
good luck, guys.
Yeah, they're
we'll
taking
see
care
in a month.
Yeah, they're taking care of the kids, and we're having beers out of pint glasses, pint glasses.
We crushed that beer tent.
Yes.
Okay, so I've got a few, questions. So okay, best team that you've covered, and that could be. Again, that could be you. How many Olympics have you covered?
7.
Okay. So, that could be a particular bobsled team there. It doesn't have to be Nashville. I guess we could have a Nashville and a non-Nashville category, but
non-Nashville
any sport.
2018 U.S. women hockey team.
Yes.
I'm there. It's a 6th round shootout for the gold, and they end a 20-year drought to get the gold medal. And I had gone down to
Oops, I Did It Again was the move she made.
Yes.
We were both there that day.
I love the name of that. And the fun thing is I'd gone down to the Four Nations Cup in Florida and spent about 4 days there and gathered enough material to do 10 stories before the Olympics. And the Lamoureux sisters, it was really weird. They didn't really practice. I had to say, I need to talk to both of them and insist that they give them to me. And it just felt like they were being ignored or something. And then they are the ones who, one sister scored the goal to force overtime. And then the other one managed to come up with that incredible move in the shootout. And even then we needed the goalie to come up with the big save to start the celebration, but absolutely the best non-US, not Nashville team. Thank you.
Okay, what about the best Nashville team
or Tennessee
team? Yeah, that's right. Because so you might be talking 98 Vols.
98 Vols was pretty good. I'm gonna go with the Lady Vols team, the first one that went undefeated, because that set the new standard in women's basketball.
And we are talking that would be Candace, right?
No, I'm talking about the team during the three-peat.
Yeah. So we're talking about oh my God.
The Meeks.
Yeah. Yes.
The Meeks, Shamika Holdsclaw,
and
Kelly
Tamika
Hart.
Catchings, was she on that team
Tamika
too?
Yes. Oh, the
Yeah.
Meeks, Samika Randall, Tamika Catchings, Shamika
that's right, Samika
Holdsclaw.
Randall inside too. Yeah.
Yes, and part of that 3P. We have documentaries being made. We've got
Kelly Harper,
books.
by the way, is a point guard.
Exactly,
Right?
Kelly Jolly, and
Kelly Jolly. Yeah.
I literally interviewed her that fall of '98. But best women's basketball game that I've ever covered was Tennessee, North Carolina regional final at Vanderbilt, and it went to overtime, and that was probably the toughest game that they had in that stretch.
So I'm trying to remember, like, who did North Carolina have at the day? Because they were very they were very strong at that.
That was a game that you probably would have liked to have seen in a Final Four. But in that atmosphere at Vanderbilt, it was packed. So it was nice to see, because one of my first women's games at Vanderbilt was Tennessee Vanderbilt, where it's easy to get a ticket. Fire marshal closed the building because it was so packed, and reportedly Vince Gill could not get in the building.
Yeah, I think I've heard that one before. That's wild. So, by the way, speaking of Vanderbilt and fire marshals, did you cover the famous Battle of the Boulevard game, Belmont Lipscomb, which I think would have been like 90 or 91 at Memorial Gym? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do, but I did not, because
Okay.
I followed Skip Blatt, and I didn't take over as our sports editor in the state and doing Vandy coverage until June of '92.
Okay. So in those first 3 years, you were primarily
nights, weekends. I was writing about Chattanooga, Austin Peay, baseball, the Memphis Chicks. I did my first NFL game, August of 1991, the Liberty Bowl, an exhibition game. Jim Everett with the Rams in LA, and the Oilers with Warren Moon in '92.
Wow, random.
Yeah, very prescient, actually.
Yeah. Were there already rumblings at that point? I don't think so.
No, there were none. I mean, trust me, when they had the news conference in August of '95 that Bud Adams was talking with Nashville exclusively about moving the team here, that was we didn't have the 24/7 social media, internet. I mean, the internet was incredibly nascent at that point. New. I mean, when I was prepping for the '96 Olympics, it's like it was black and white. It was dial up.
Get that dial up going.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you wait for like 30 seconds for a website to load. Yeah, it's
you hope.
like just go to the library.
Yeah, and if it crashed,
right. Yeah, exactly. A simpler time. Okay. So how about best athlete that you've covered? Best player, I guess it could be two different things, right? We both were around like Usain Bolt and people like that, right? Michael Phelps, but it could be a player too, team player, whatever, however you want to take it.
I'm going to lean to Steve McNair with Derrick Henry right behind him by a hair.
Okay.
I mean, Steve McNair, country strong. I mean, what that dude did and the injuries he played through, he got them to their second AFC championship game with the 2002 season. 5 straight weeks, did not practice because of a variety of injuries, and started every game, won every game, and they needed all 5 of those to get to the playoffs. They ran out of gas in Oakland, but that was just an incredible run. And what he did was it was fun to watch that man.
Yeah, no, it's hard to argue with that. All right, I have a lot more questions for Teresa. If you'd like to ask questions of Teresa, hit us up on the game phone or text line, driven by WilsonCountyHoney.com, 615-737-1025, or on the YouTube chat. Where Predemption says we are in the presence of royalty. That is right, Predemption. Trevor does wonder if you like Creed and or Maroon 5.
Creed, no. Maroon 5, I do have a few of their sons.
Okay, all right.
Just a few.
I mean,
not
no,
many.
no human is perfect. That's fine. But thank you for saying you don't like Creed. That actually made my day. We'll be back with more Teresa Walker, 102.5 The Game, Robby and Rexrode. Welcome back in. Robby and Rex at 125 the game. Little Zeppelin. We approve, Ian. We approve. Get the let out. It's always good to get the let out. Teresa Walker here this is our look back hour. Then we'll have our present day hour. Then we'll have our future hour with Teresa Walker here on Robby and Rexrode.
Joe Rexrode being the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future.
Yeah.
Sports wise.
Or am I I'm trying to think of like some goofy character from that. What's the kid's name? Yeah. I'm totally botching this. It's a little kid. The little kid in
there's lots of little kids.
But the one, the Scrooge, he ends up,
I never really liked that story.
I've seen like 10 different versions of that story, and is it Tiny Tim?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Yes.
I knew I knew I was onto something there. Jess on the YouTube chat says, speaking of Maroon 5, I found their album I bought in 2005. Thought of how proud you'd be. Yeah, I mean that's fine. Listen, if Teresa doesn't like Creed, we're fine. She said during the break that they have some catchy hooks. That's fine. Okay. But apparently she said they had a band before Maroon 5 called Kara's Flowers, which even then remember thinking they were terrible. So, okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. So I was going to, I'm going best. We've done best team, best athlete. I also want worst team, the absolute worst team you have ever covered.
Oh, 2-14 was really, really tough. I mean,
because the Preds have never. I mean, the Preds had expansion teams, but they were never like
you knew the Preds were building something in the early years.
They've never had an embarrassingly bad team. The Titans have had
2 years ago, or not this past season. Season before was ugly.
It wasn't good, but I mean, that doesn't compare to a 2-14 team, right?
And
but there's also some Vanderbilt football teams, right? Like you could
Well, when Vanderbilt football is bad, I just ignore them.
We wouldn't say you covered
Vandy,
them.
But exactly. So the NFL teams I have to cover because it's the NFL. So 2-14 was bad. We have Wisenhunt being fired, Mike Mularkey being promoted, but then 3-14, it's like, hello, that's just as bad.
Which is the worst? Yeah. So this is a good question.
Last year was bad. And I think last year, not recency bias, but last year was the worst for this reason, because, you had spent money in Rand Carthon's year, and that was just a crapshoot, and he's gone. You have a new GM, and you've got a coaching staff, and they're trying everything. They've got the number one pick in Cam Ward, and then we have that season opener, and you've got a chance. They had a chance to steal a game in Denver and let it slip through their fingers.
The way they lost that game.
Yeah,
bad.
But that one highlight where Brian Callahan didn't challenge Alec Iamaner's catch, because of an elbow, and then he says, "Well, it was an elbow; it doesn't count." And then the next day, he's doing the attempt at a cleanup on aisle 9, and it's like, "No, I do know the rule." And I mean, his answer went on for almost 5 minutes, and it's like, "Stop digging," okay? So that. It felt like December in September. That's how bad last year was.
So the debacle of last year for you outweighs, because Brian Callahan, very likable guy.
Very.
Wisenhunt, very not likable guy. But the incompetence last year puts it number one.
I think so, because that's the thing. You kind of makes you wonder. It's like, you hire a guy.
How does that happen?
Yes. You hire a guy who is a first-time head coach. And then you watch as he hires somebody who's never been a defensive coordinator before and never been an offensive coordinator before. Now, yes, Brian Callahan was calling the plays, but he had never been a head coach before. He hadn't called plays before. Zach Taylor in Cincinnati, you can talk to a guy and try to prepare him as much as you want, but you don't do a job till you're doing the job. And he was literally learning on the job. And think about it. The only person they could it took forever for them to finally talk that day they fired him, because they were trying to figure out, and work out who's replacing him.
Yeah.
And they had to turn to Mike McCoy, who came through the door that off season.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, obviously that model, I mean, it's not uncommon now, right? I'm the OC for the play calling head coach. I get my chance to be the play calling head coach, right? And it has worked, but you don't do that and bring in the green coordinators that he did. I mean, that, right? Like you can't. I think everybody thought that Bill Callahan was going to make up for all that, but it
didn't.
It's not enough. Yeah, you got to at least have one coordinator who has been around the block.
Yes, and I'll just say
but
this.
That still doesn't explain like not knowing the rules.
Exactly. But that's the thing. When when everything's new and you're settling in, trying to get some sort of a rhythm, athletes call it muscle memory and things like that, knowing your keys. Moment. No, I should have challenged that. I need to challenge that. And somebody in the box should have been yelling, challenge that. The difference to this year now with 3 head coaches on this coaching staff, as left tackle Dan Moore said on Thursday, in the building, it's organized, professional. That was when he said that, it's like, whoo, that's a big slap at the last year.
It is. Now, I also remember Arden Key last year, 2 years ago, say, "Oh, now these coaches correct everything. The last Vrabel, it's like, I mean, there's always the let's rip the last staff. I mean, there's some validity to it that we can all see, but I also that's one of my pet peeves in covering sports is please, I know the last coaches were idiots.
Recency
these
bias,
coaches
baby.
are great. I know. We got some different questions for you. Actually, this is probably a good idea. Vandy fan, who would like to know your favorite Vandy person. We could do this for the different teams. Favorite Vandy personality, player, coach, AD, whoever it is. Your favorite person to cover at Vandy. We can do that for Tennessee and
Candace Parker. I'm sorry, Candace Story. Sorry, Candace, if you're listening. It is
another Candace who
I need more caffeine. But covered her when she was a player.
Yeah.
Not that I'm old or anything, and then to watch her progression when David Williams was stepping down, it always seemed that she was the absolute perfect person to replace him. And when Vandy went outside the box with Malcolm Turner, it's like, this ain't going to work. And then when they finally get her in, the progress and what they've done, hello, she's got a huge role in this.
Yeah, she's been tremendous. And I think there was a lot of questions. Like you said, I think just because she's part of the old guard, but she's a really good AD. And I think the secret sauce is just being a nice person, right? Seriously, that's a big deal. How she treats people, how she gets along with people.
Absolutely. And she knows how to work things at Vanderbilt. Now, Chancellor Daniel Diermeyer is the other piece of that, because she can't do what she's doing without that support.
Sure. Okay, sorry. I apologize to Ed. I forgot about Ed. He's been online waiting patiently. He has a Titans question for you. Ed, how you doing, buddy?
Good morning. I'm still singing Misty Mountain Hop. Great lead-in. Anyway.
It's a jam.
Teresa, thank you so much for your years of coverage. I'm a Titan Oiler fan. Go back, a long way, and living in Jersey. I believe your articles were published in USA Today, if I remember. I don't know. I think that was the only way I could get news, I believe, for years. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, Ed. And absolutely, every Monday, their NFL roundup, leaned heavily back in the day on the Associated Press. So thank you for reading. And I watched the Oilers in the 70s with Earl Campbell and Dan Pastorini, so I understand.
So did Ed.
Yeah, absolutely. So you covered Bud Adams in obviously the back nine of his tenure, and now Amy. So I was curious. Do they compare in your opinion? How are they the same, and how they might be different? And again, congratulations on retirement.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Ed.
Ed.
Similarities, maybe sometimes quick to pull the trigger. Make some emotional moves. Bud Adams, it's like my front office isn't moving fast enough to go after Peyton Manning in 2012. And he literally calls up Jim Wyatt and tells him, I want them to go after Peyton Manning. And that started a flurry of a week. Amy, we've seen the cycling here. The difference, Amy invests in this franchise. The stories I heard when they relocated here about the condition of the practice facility in Houston to and they moved into that beautiful new place in August of 99. And then she more than doubled the size of that facility. They paid for that. They didn't go for taxpayer money to do that. That all came out of the pocket. And she's been staffing up and hiring. Now, granted, they're competing against us, creating their own content, but she invests in that franchise.
So there you go. So Bud, you would say, Bud had a reputation. Obviously people in Houston would say this, but for penny pinching in some areas where you
It's,
shouldn't.
it's exactly, and it's why, I mean, we brought our own drinks in and brought in a small cooler to the media workroom, and there was a Coke machine.
Bud wouldn't give you some pop? Jeez, Bud.
No, there was a Coke machine, and thankfully it was 75 cents for the longest time. But we brought, somebody brought in a fridge, and we were able to use that. But we had to bring our own stuff if you didn't want what was in the machine. And now thankfully there are snacks, there are beverages, which is good. So that is a definite difference.
I will say, certainly, Amy Armstrong has invested. The facility change in around 2017 or so. That was a significant
19-ish.
Was it 19? Because I thought Malarkey was still there. But regardless, yeah, they've done some different phases. There's going to be nice days ahead here, Teresa, in the future. A beautiful 70-degree Sunday. It's like you're going to make so much money. You are, as an NFL owner, you're making so much money. You just pay the money for the retractable roof. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
A retractable roof, per Burton I Hill, they studied, is around the league is opened 3% of the time. How many people in Middle Tennessee have a convertible? And it's like, I'm going to use it on the great days. But then you go out in April and it's a gorgeous day and it's like all the pollen hits you and then the roof is closed again.
Well, sure. But I mean, I've been to Indy when it's been open. That's 4.5 hours north of us. And it's great.
I'll just say this, as somebody who has tickets to Foo Fighters next month, I am looking forward to being able to go to a climate controlled concert inside the new stadium. And if you're going to CMA Fan Fest next year, it's going to be a lot more comfortable. No rain delays, no lightning slowing things down. It's going to be, I've seen the arguments. You're in Nashville. Be open.
I just like to have the option of outdoor football. I know that stadium.
Are you paying for it?
But the weather has to be perfect.
But if I'm an NFL owner, I have the money. I mean, she is. You know how the valuations of these franchises? I mean,
yes, I saw what the
75 and sunny.
What's that?
It has to be 75 and sunny. Otherwise, the roof is closed.
Yes.
I'd be happy at 58 to 80, but
no, that's not. People don't want that. We want the dome, Joe.
It's all about the
again. I want both.
Wants to get cold.
I want both. You can have both.
Yeah. I don't know.
Right.
It'll never be open, to Teresa's point. It'll be closed constantly.
Yes.
It's not worth it.
All right, I disagree with both of you guys, but we have a lot of questions for Teresa we have to get to. So we will continue some of these other. Yeah, I'm losing track of the text line, but we will get to your questions with Teresa Walker, Robby and Rexrode. 102.5 again. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at 1025 The Game for live shows and exclusive content. Welcome back, Robby and Rex Show 1025 The Game. There we go, Ian. Little Toto. The Toto version of Africa, not the Weezer. The Weezer version was fine.
This is the OG.
But this is it's like you don't need to remake like a perfect song, right?
Every note is perfect.
It's funny. Have you ever seen the I swear I bring up the Yacht Rock documentary like once a month. Have you ever seen the Yacht Rock documentary?
Once a month?
No, I have not.
Twice a week.
Yeah, well, maybe. You
So
have not?
I have not.
You got to check it out. It's amazing. And like the Toto is interviewed and like they were like when they were making this song, like they're like, this is the dumbest crap ever. This is going on the album. What are you doing? What the hell is this song about? And then also I was like, oh, it's the greatest song of all time.
Put this
right,
with Duran Duran, Hungry Like the Wolf.
There you go. That's a jam. All right. We have a lot. Listen, the bottom line is I had this idea of like, I mean, we may just be two old people just reminiscing all day, just, Bartles and James on the porch here with our wine coolers.
I'm not old. I'm just retiring.
Well, that's true. I'll say I'm old. You're mature.
Thank you.
Yes.
Experienced. I'm a vet.
That's right. So a lot of questions. Now, I do want to let's get to the same question. I have a YouTube chatter asking for a Pat Summitt story. I don't know if this is your answer, but I would imagine when you talk about greatest people you've covered at Tennessee,
she's at the top.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And my favorite memory of Pat Summitt, and I covered her 500th win out in Jackson, her 900th win came at Vanderbilt, and I was there when she got the record and they renamed the court in her honor. But when the three-peat came to an end in the 90s, they lose, I think it was to Duke over in North Carolina. And on a Monday, I'm asked to do a follow. And when they're traveling back, everybody's heading to the Final Four. I reach out and I'm not sure if I'm going to get her. And about 4:00 Central, she calls me back and we're talking. And all of a sudden, Tyler interrupts her because grandma had, Pat's mom had given him $100 and and I'm pregnant at the time. So I'm like a month.
A lot of stuff happened when you were pregnant.
Yes. I was about 5 weeks away from having my son. And I hear her explain to him, okay, we're going to put this much into savings. You're going to put this much to church. And then you're going to be able to spend this much. And then and so she takes a turn side to be a mom. And I'm listening to how she handles this because my son has a grandmother who has spoiled him his entire life. So we've had to manage that. And so listening to, and then when she's done, she's being mom, and then she turns back to being the pro and then the interview. And it's like just a great example for somebody who was about to be a mom and balancing work and being a parent and being able to do both. Love that. Yeah. She's my GOAT of all time because she for what she meant for women, game of women's basketball.
Yeah. No, she's one of the greatest American coaches, but also I think what she did for women's athletics.
And women.
Yeah, exactly.
Do what you want to do and go do it the best and lay it on the ground.
Yeah. I want to get to that same question with Titans Preds. And, obviously you talk about different people. You cover Rick Byrd at Belmont and,
when they were in the NIAI.
Yeah, there you go. I do have Chris from Murfreesboro. Can Teresa talk about her memories of working with Mark Howard, one of the greats that we have lost here?
Loved Mark. So I go from covering Vanderbilt, the senior PGA here, LPGA, PGA in Memphis, and ATP, stuff like that. And then suddenly I've got the Oilers, the NFL now, and I'm covering it and I'm diving in, and it's not a period where I was the only woman. So it's like there wasn't anyone that looked like me that I could ask for tips or suggestions. And I'm just plunging in, trying to do what I can do. And, one day Mark Howard, complimented one of my stories. He says, I really like what this was a good story. Loved reading it. And, you're doing some good stuff on this. And to get that feedback in 97 was huge. And it was always a pleasure. Mark was a pro. And there was one moment, Vanderbilt introduced Tom Collins as the new women's basketball coach. And then we're doing one-on-ones over to the side. And Mark immediately starts asking Tom Collins, so your resume has always been the way it's been? There's never been anything else? And I'm like, Mark's onto something. And I couldn't figure it out at the time. Well, the next day, the Titans had like a media day to show us what an off-season program day was like for their team. And we're over there, and I get pulled out because Tom Collin is leaving. He's not taking the job. He's gone. He's bolting to the airport.
You're going to say, I don't remember him being the coach. What?
He wasn't the coach because when he finished up a second degree, he bolted for a job, didn't get the piece of paper. The university
So it's
changed.
a George O'Leary situation.
Well, no, he earned it, but he didn't get the paper, and then the school changed it and got rid of that program. So it didn't, and he changed his resume to try to kind of reflect that and ignore the fact that he had earned it. So it was just that confusion. He did earn it, but he didn't get the piece of paper, and it cost him the job at Vanderbilt. And then we ended up with Melanie Balcom. But Mark was on it, and it's like, oh, his spidey, he's on to something. So it's like he was a consummate pro.
Yeah. Wow. That's a story I had no idea. How about we've talked best people you've covered at Vanderbilt. We got Candace Story-Lee, we got Pat Summitt. How about with the Titans?
With the Titans, I'm going to go Eddie George. Again, consummate pro. We call them go-to guys in our industry, right? He talked during the bad times. He talked during the good times.
That's the key.
And, now he's at Bowling Green. But when he was at TSU, our PFWA chapter here in Nashville, we started up our own Media Good Guy Award. And Kevin Byard was our initial winner. And I text Eddie and I say, hey, Eddie, this is last minute. It was the day before. I know you're busy, but we're doing this. We named it in your honor. Could you maybe? Sure enough, he was there. Yeah. He was there in the locker room and helped us present this first award to Kevin Byard. Yeah. So I love Eddie because he made my job so much easier, and he's just a cool dude.
How about Preds?
Preds Pecorine.
Yeah.
I mean, David Poyle's right behind that, but Pekka, I mean, there was the one time post game where Mike Organ, me, and David Beauclair are right there. We're ready to ask questions. TV's in the other corner with somebody, and one of the PR people who shall go unnamed saying, let's wait for the TV people. And Beauclair is pointing out rightly, we're on deadline, and it's starting to get to an argument. And Pekka says, let's not argue. I'll just answer the questions.
There you go. Well, I've said this one before, but you talk about good times, bad times, and teams more and more want to hide people, as you know. I mean, over your time, the access has gotten so much worse. And
cut to a keyhole.
Yeah, and Pecorine, to me, the way he stood in there after that Game 7 against Winnipeg, a terrible night for the franchise, for him, but talk about a pro. And the way he handled that, I mean, that to me speaks volumes. I got to ask you, like, the worst people. Give me your worst people you've covered.
Pac-Man Jones.
Well, there's a kind of, some of these are like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's kind of a gimme. Yeah.
Well, think about it. Before his first training camp, I had to go to night court over here in Nashville for the first time in my career. Good thing I started covering cops and courts at my first job. And then that rookie year, they're kind of dinging him for not paying his clubhouse dues, to at the end of the season to, thank all the people who do the really grunty, dirty work. And he threw a bit of a fit in the locker room after that. And, he's wanting some socks. And, we're trying to talk to Kyle Vandenbosch because he'd just been, he'd gotten voted to the Pro Bowl that day. And it's like, we're trying to talk to him. I think it was Kyle Vandenbosch, but we're talking to somebody and he's just yelling. And it was just only time I have ever felt uncomfortable in a pro locker room, ever.
Yeah, Pat, I feel like all of you, everybody who covered this franchise at the time has like some terrible story about Pac-Man Jones. Who else?
John Moran. And I like John. I mean, when he is at his happiest and making highlight plays, he is so fun to watch, undeniable talent, but the suspensions. I mean, I'm on vacation trying to finish up a ski trip, and the whole thing in Denver happened, and then there was the other thing. So it's like, and then I had the story prepared for him to be traded in January with my guy in Memphis who helps me so much, and it's just it opportunity potential lost.
Yeah, no, he's we were talking off the break, but you were like, you expected that, but right now you'd be covering deep runs with the Grizzlies because that's what should have happened with him, and it's too bad to see what has happened. There are more questions about, we can look back the whole show, but I do want to get into current states of these franchises this coming hour with Teresa. So we'll get to more questions and we'll do that next. Robby and Rexrode 1025 the game. Second hour, Friday edition, Robby and Rex, show 102.5 The Game, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Robby and Rex Show, presented by Green Ventures Landscaping. Get thicker grass, better color, and fewer bare spots with turf application. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. We continue on with our friend Teresa Walker, the great Teresa Walker, who is retiring from the Associated Press in October after starting there in 1989. We've had a great first hour, a lot of reminiscing. We're going to do more reminiscing. We have more questions to that effect. But Teresa, I do. Well, hold on. Actually, since we're just sort of evaluating people, best interview, greatest people you cover, worst people. Where do you come down on Big Joe?
Oh, Big Joe is
don't hold back.
Big Joe is affable, fun. He's tall. I can always get in front of when Joe's carrying a camera. I can always get right in front of him or Bob Kuzak at Channel 5. So, love Joe. I mean, but does he always wear the same pink shirt or pink tie? I mean, it seems to be a combination. It's are those the only things in his shirt?
Is that the pink tie you're talking about on that poster?
Yes,
right
and if it's not that, it's a pink shirt that he's got.
You pick a tie you like and you go with it. Yesterday he compared 2 days ago he compared the Tennessee
Arian Carter.
Thank you. The Arian Carter situation to Pete Rose. So I just like to throw that out there. Pete Rose broke a rule. Arian Carter broke a rule. And no difference. I mean, Charles Manson broke a rule and Arian Carter broke. I mean, tell me the difference. I don't know. No. I just had to rip Big Joe for a minute.
Well, I did want to call in yesterday because he was talking to Jeff Fisher and mentioned the Albert Haynesworth bringing a pole back to practice after being kicked out. That was at UT, Joe, not with the Titans. At the Titans, Albert kicked Justin Hartwig in the chest during a practice. Got a little heated, but that was a camp practice that was fun. But yeah, So
Big Joe's getting a little bit mixed up here.
Well, the older we get, thank God for media guides and quick internet.
And the internet. Yeah, that's right. Not the dial-up that we used to have to deal with. George on the YouTube. I want to get into. We're gonna hit all the the top teams that you cover. And by the way, for people who don't know, you have covered you covered the Grizzlies a lot. You go to Memphis a lot. You have had a lot of help east with freelancers or people who have covered Tennessee games for you, and I'm
middle and west.
You're middle and west
since '92. So yeah, I was there when think about this. The Grizzlies had Jerry West and Hubie Brown. Hubie Brown won an NBA Coach of the Year with the Grizzlies.
That's wild.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yes, and then they set a then NBA record losing their first 12 playoff games. But yes, the 7-year stretch of playoffs with the grit and grind era, I was there for every game.
Yeah, a great era. Again, I was with you. I thought we'd be talking about a different thing right now, based on the early days of John Moran. George on the YouTube chat does want to know your thoughts on the Vrabel Rossini thing.
It's disappointing as a female in sports because avoiding that perception has been one of my goals. And if you're a female in sports media, you try and effort to avoid those kind of things because reputation is everything. And I mean, I have sources and, and
yeah, does there have to be an implication every time a woman in journalism gets information? Yes.
There are many of us in sports media and we have our sources and we get information and, I'll just say this. I've never been on a girls trip where I couldn't have photographic proof and my girls have my back immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. Very disappointing on all fronts there. So, speaking of disappointing, there's a great segue. The Tennessee Titans have been disappointing for a while now, Teresa.
Yeah.
You've been at camp here the last couple of days. Robert Saleh, Mike Borgonzi here with 2 drafts under his belt, 2 off seasons under his belt. Robert Saleh in, I would say, objectively, this looks like an improved coaching staff from the last one. Again, big pet peeve of mine is the last guys were idiots. These guys are amazing. But what are your thoughts right now on this franchise and where they stand? Are they going to stop being around the bottom of the NFL anytime soon?
I think they have a chance this year to do something. And when I say do something, a winning record is not out of the range. John Franklin Myers said yesterday, there's no such thing as a rebuild in the NFL. We're all
It shouldn't be.
0-0. Exactly. And let's not forget, most money spent in free agency this year. Okay, we saw that a couple years ago with Rain. It didn't work. But, the people that they brought in, I mean, John Franklin Myers, yeah, they trade for Jermaine Johnson. They bring in Alontae Taylor, a guy that I liked in college, and he was at the top of my secondary buy list as a free agent. Cordell Flott. I mean, it's just the moves that they've made, getting Cam Ward help on offense, particularly in the draft. I like Carnell Tate. And the way he approaches going up and getting balls, securing it with both hands. I like that kid. So, Brian Dable, he knows what he's doing, and he has worked with young quarterbacks before. Cam Ward is a hard worker. So, if it's adults in the room, and there is a difference over there. You can feel it. They're louder. They seem more intentional. And although it was fun, Cam Ward on Wednesday dropped a reference to a Brian Callahan thing, sin, self-inflicted negatives kind of thing, right? So, there is feed over, but
Brian Callahan's legacy lives on.
Hey, Cam Ward did not diss him. He's like, they still have jobs in the NFL. Brian Callahan isn't he with the Jets right now? So Giants, excuse me, the other New York team. So, but that's the thing. It's different over there. So if you're halfway decent, you should have 6 wins. In a 17-game season, you should have 6 wins. They've got 2 home games to start the season for the first time since 2010. And we saw a team that went from 2 wins to the Super Bowl in February. So this is the NFL. It's designed. Pete Rozell's dream is teams that make good decisions can be rewarded quickly. So if this defense leads the way, I winning record, I do think is possible for this team, and I won't be surprised at anything else they do. If they're playing the first weekend of the playoffs, not surprised.
Okay, this is the most optimistic take on the Tennessee Titans of 2026 I've heard.
I know, and maybe part of it is just the last 4 seasons have been draining.
You're speaking it into existence.
I am trying to.
Well, so I did want to ask you. You mentioned louder. We just talked about the Vrabster there, the Vrabel special with a different meaning now. As you know, Teresa. Yeah, thank you. As you know, the atmosphere in the practice field when Vrabel was coach. First of all, the most creative use of the F-bomb ever, and frequent and creative. He was good. Obviously, he's a good coach. He had control out there, and he's sort of always firing off, one-liners, and there was no question. How would you compare Robert Saleh's presence on the practice field to that? Because there's some obvious comparison with those two guys.
Saleh seems to have been on the practice field a little quieter. I mean, maybe it's because I'm watching the offense a little. Now, defense, they've got some loud guys over there. Aaron White-Cotton. I do get flashbacks to Jim Washburn, who coached many great defenders for the Tennessee Titans. But Saleh is a little bit quieter, but he's had some moments. He drops a few blue words, and yesterday he totally stunned the Jets media. I tweeted out, Stillman asked apparently Fireman Ed said on a podcast
Who the hell is Fireman Ed? What is Stilly talking about? Who's Fireman Ed?
Fireman Ed, he's the guy with
famous Jets fan.
Yeah, the JETS Jets chant, and he wears that fireman hat.
Okay.
You cover Sports Joe.
Well, yeah, sort of.
Kind of.
He came up with the Jets chant, the JETS chant.
That part I don't know. He's just he's one of those famous fans. And he said on a podcast.
Fireman Ed. Okay.
Yeah. Apparently Saleh told some fan this summer that they were going to beat the out of the Jets.
Yeah. Still, it beat their ass. Still, he likes to ask questions with the word ass in them. Yes.
Yeah. And he asked Cam Ward about that on Wednesday. So, but he answered that, and I shot video.
That was a good answer. I liked his answer.
It was a great answer. And I tweeted that out, and my colleague at the Jets shared it out, and the Jets beat. People are like, he said that. So apparently there is a bit of a change in Robert Saleh, but it's all fun and games until the games count, and we'll see. Then we'll see when the rubber hits the road.
Yeah. So are you willing to go on the record and say the Titans are going to have a winning record this year?
Yes.
Give me your record prediction.
I think 9-7.
9-8.
Sorry, it's
7.
9-8.
9-8. Wow. Okay. Put Teresa Walker down.
Love
9-8. Hey, you know what? Listen, it does happen. Like my first year here 10 years ago, and you were very kind taking me in, by the way, unlike
You're welcome.
some people like PK. But
I'm nice.
yeah, I know you were, unlike him. But they were terrible. They had won 5 games the previous 2 years. No one picked them to do anything. They go 9-7. They should have won the division. And if Mariota didn't break his leg at Jacksonville, they might have won the division. So it does happen in this league. It's hard to for me. I'm worried about this O-line.
There's
the O-line,
massive questions there.
And if it's bad again, it's just
Cam Ward was sacked 55 times last year.
Ruins
Cannot
everything.
happen.
Yeah. And it hasn't looked great, so I understand it's early with no pads and all that, but there's concerns.
There's massive concerns. And, I mean, if we end up with the Jackson Slater at right guard, will not be surprised. But one thing I know is that there's a lot of time between now and the start of the season, September 13th against the Jets. And the 3 joint practices, that's when we'll know for sure what this team might be.
All right, we have Dylan Anag calls you Hot Take Teresa. There we go. Adam in Portland says Fireman Ed is the Adam from Portland of the Jets. Okay, now I have a little bit better feel. Thank you. I'm sorry I didn't know Fireman Ed. I'm so sorry. People are ripping me in the YouTube chat too. People from Vancouver, Canada, actually know who Fireman Ed is. Okay, I didn't. Who would be the Titans? I mean, we love you, Adam from Portland. I don't know if you would be this. Who would be the Titans Fireman Ed?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, if you said that about the Predators, I'd know immediately the Predskin. But when it comes,
right?
Yeah, but when it comes to the Titans,
I mean, there's some great super fans.
Yes, dedicated fans. Because I mean, unlike
Tic Tac Titans.
No.
Are you also not a fan of Tic Tac Titans? I just love saying that. I don't know why.
That would be correct.
Let loose on them. You're retiring. Let loose.
Honestly, I blocked this account because it's
good.
like I don't have time for folks who don't do. I'm sorry, maybe I'm old school and I am.
Yes,
but do
the
grind. Don't just have hot takes on the internet. Go to practice. Actually talk to the players.
It lives in some other state, right?
I know, and it's like some of us are here actually doing the legwork to find out what's going on and talk to these people. It's called old school reporting. Yes,
have some of that. Triple T. Okay, when we come back, we will continue the Titans, but I also want to get into the other teams too and where things are in Nashville with the great Teresa Walker, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. There we go. Welcome back in, Robby and Rex on 102.5 The Game. Teresa Walker vibing to some Duran Duran. For you kids out there looking at some Duran Duran. This is from Rio, I think. Yeah, I'm Rio.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah, maybe, I think. I got a texter who says, Chad says, we need Teresa ripping media clowns like plants need sun. We're open to more of it too, by the way. I mean, we haven't even gotten to our PK bashing segment, so that'll be we got TD coming up later.
Love TD.
Yeah, so
not as much as my husband
everybody
loves
likes
TD.
TD. Yeah, your husband loves TD.
He'll say, I'm on the verticals, I'm reading what TD's done, and it's like, baby, I wrote the same thing. It's like, hello.
What about my story? Huh?
I know. My son actually follows me better on social than my husband. My husband has to look at my socials to get on social because he doesn't do social.
Good
but
for him.
he goes peeps and stuff. I had to sit down with him to go through all the wonderful things people have been saying about me the last couple of days.
Yeah, and you got a lot of admirers.
And I say thank you to everyone. You like me. You really like me.
We got some submissions on the first of all. I mean, Mitch Light is texting like, you don't know Fireman Ed, dude. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know Fireman Ed. He says, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. I will familiarize myself. I mean, yes, I've seen the guy. Okay, fine, I've seen the guy with the fireman hat.
He's from Michigan.
I mean, my famous, I think of Fire Marshal Bill, but Fireman Ed. Yeah, there you go. But people have submitted. So Mitchell Firkins, Jess, and someone else on the text line says Mitch Firkins. Someone's talking chili pepper as the Titans.
Sorry, I didn't think of that one.
Someone dressing up as Macho Man. If you go to the games, someone said that too, as far as who would be like the Titans version of.
And there's
Fireman
somebody
Ed,
who dresses as Elvis usually.
Yeah. So we get some good regulars. I mean, to me, of that realm, I think the greatest would be like the Hogs. Remember, or like the Hogettes.
Oh yes,
back at old RFK Stadium. I mean, that was pretty sweet.
It was.
Yeah.
But you're bringing up painful memories because I remember the Hogs and John Riggins running over a team I once supported, and Dan Marino and the Dolphins in a Super Bowl.
Now, I will correct you. Dan Marino's a rookie the next year.
Oh, that was
Don Strock.
No, it was. I don't think it was Don Strock.
Was it David Woodley?
David Woodley, yes.
So I think they both were on that. They were both on that
slept
team.
Since then. Yeah.
I don't remember what they both might have played in the Super Bowl. I don't know, but yes. And you know what else happened that night?
What?
That was, how sometimes after Super Bowls there'd be like like the one year like Friends had the episode with like Julia Roberts, or that was the worldwide debut of the A Team after that Super Bowl, which I was allowed to stay up to watch. Yes, so there we go. I mean, we can just talk about the '80s the rest of the show if you want.
You weren't allowed to stay up then? Okay. I am older than you, aren't I?
Yeah, a little bit. Adam in Portland says the Fireman Ed thing is as bad as Skiatika. No, it is not as bad as Skiatika. I said Skiatika on the air, and I was mocked nationally for this. Okay, that is not as bad as not knowing Fireman Ed, but I apologize for not knowing Fireman Ed. Who would be the Preds? Thank you. Who would be the Preds version? Predzican. Yes. How about the Preds? The Preds right now, new regime. You covered all one family, and it's incredible to have that kind of continuity in a professional sports organization. It really is. It's something to admire and appreciate. Also, it was time. Where do you think things are right now for this team? But also, and we're going to look more ahead next hour, but what state of the Preds for you right now?
Rebuilding. And I'm really curious, Chris McFarland says, yes, we're going to keep Andrew Burnett and, because I need to evaluate, and it's smart. He's brought in so many people around him in the front office. He's, traded for, Colton from the Avs, brought in Maverick Bork and got him in a contract extension. And it still feels like there's more moves to be made, but those may end up coming near the trade deadline. But I think the next thing is, how does this team start in October with 10 home games? If they start badly yet again. That does not bode well for Bruno. So right now it's still in a state of flux. But Chris McFarland has had a lot of success and in places, and it just feels like everybody wanted somebody outside the family. Well, they did, and now we don't. It's a new team, so we can't look at what he did and say this is how it's going to be. But it just feels like they're going in a new direction because I love Barry Trotz, but it felt like he was trying to do what David Poyle did: squeeze, hold on, try to make tweaks to get, big contracts, get that back on track, and it just hasn't helped, and it's just stayed more in the ditch.
Yeah, I mean, look, we celebrated the signings of a couple of years ago, and it hasn't worked out. And I think the Saros deal
Not good.
is, I do want real quick. John in Nashville points out this guy is awesome. The goal Moses, let my people goal. I mean, for Nashville SC, that is that's
may
a
be
special kind of super fan right there.
That when they debuted that was awesome.
Yeah, that's very good. Would you? Alex Doherty of the Tennessean recently wrote, we've talked about it a few times, would you entertain trading Roman Josi?
Knowing what trading Shea Weber ended up leading to, I might say yes, depending on what the package is. But I mean,
it's not a non-starter for you.
No, it's not a non-starter because I mean, as much as everyone in Nashville absolutely loves Roman Josi, and we just saw him be the captain of Switzerland in the Olympics in Italy. The problem is, it's about what can you do to get this team better. But it's like, whatever's going out with Roman Josi, you better bring somebody in who can play defense because that's still a big issue for this franchise right now. I mean, you can pencil him in. You know what you've got in Roman Josi. Who else is playing around him? And
and he's also getting older, and
if trading him helps fix the defense overall, then I'm in.
Or but maybe if I mean, look, I think you're stepping back if you do that, right? If you were to trade any of these core older guys, then you're really signaling this team is probably not going to be competitive. Sometimes you have to have in this league, and it doesn't have to be the massive step back so you can try to be the top of the draft like some Preds fans have wanted, but like sometimes you just have to. Right, you have to do that. But if you get prospects back that in a couple of years with Brady Martin are going to, and these young guys that they're hopeful for, all of a sudden you might have an actual core, an actual young core like they did 10 years ago when Josi and all those guys, and they, and they're starting to win playoff series, and you've got the best D core in the league back then.
That was then. This is now.
Yes.
So that's why Roman Josi, if there's somebody that comes knocking, you absolutely listen.
All right, Nate in Columbia on the line to talk to Teresa. Nate, what's up?
What's up, y'all? I know Teresa isn't officially retired yet. She's going through the end of the Titans season. But I got a couple questions. So, one, if y'all have answered this, I'll go back and listen later today. But one, what was your favorite, interaction with Mike Vrabel? And two, this question might be best for after you officially retire, but so far, what has been your favorite Tennessee coverage moment or, something all together? Y'all have a great day.
All right, thanks, Nate. And actually, I'll let you think about those. We'll come back for those answers and get into the college sports scene in Tennessee with Teresa Walker on Robby and Rexrode 102.5 The Game. Ian keeps it going here for Teresa. You're winning every time. Hey, keep up with Titans training camp, 102.5 The Game for the latest updates, player interviews, and more as you get prepped for the upcoming Titans season. Coverage of Titans training camp is presented by Twin Peaks Restaurants, Parman Tractor and Equipment, and Tri-State Water, Power, and Air. Twin Peaks Restaurant, home of the 29-degree beer, and we will get back into the Titans soon. We have TD, as always, at 8 o'clock, the top of the hour. I need you to – I was like, I know that there was something before we get into Tennessee and Vanderbilt. Nate's questions there. Your favorite interaction with Vrabel?
Well, aside from the fact that he's the reason why I get the first question when I go pretty much anywhere now in Nashville. So I do thank Mike Vrabel for that. But Super Bowl in LA, which, yes, we know the Titans should have been there if not for Cincinnati. But I'm on before the NFL honors, and I know that he's going to be our, the AP NFL Coach of the Year. And I wanted to ask about the contract situation. And there's a reporter from, with a TV camera beside me, I don't know what outlet, and she starts answering a question, and he goes, no. Back in Nashville, Teresa gets the first question, and I got to ask the question. And I asked about the contract and everything, but that was really, really nice. And I forget the second part of Nate's question.
I think it was it the favorite interview? I don't remember. Ian, do you remember?
I'm sorry, what?
What was Nate's second question?
Oh, something about it was about Tennessee. Was it your favorite Tennessee moment? Something like that.
Maybe like if there's a moment.
I assume he was talking about college.
Another question that I haven't gotten to because we've just been ripping. We've been we could take 5 hours today, but the biggest stories.
A week.
Yeah, the biggest stories. Obviously, the things that come to mind. The Preds Cup run, but
2017,
saving the Preds,
2007,
the McNair tragedy, and what anything else that that comes to mind in terms of beyond sort of covering sports, but like a bigger story that part of your career.
Well, Music City Miracle. Because, think about it. They were, they'd had a 13-3 season, but they were seconds away from their season being done. And that play happens and launches them to their only Super Bowl run. And that was the energy in Nashville was unbelievable. And it's still one of the top 5 plays in a century of the NFL. The whole 2007 with the Preds, they're going to be sold. They're, keep your hands off my team. I think that was Jeremy Gover's sign. So
Gover.
Yeah, and then they keep the team. But 2017, walking out before Game 3 and hustling back to the arena because the crush on Broadway was just amazing. It felt like lemmings in little boxes, and it's just packed people. So that was just stunning. The McNair, I was next to a pool in Fort Walton in 2009 on July 4th, and my mother-in-law comes and tells me, I was just talking to somebody. They're saying in Nashville that Steve McNair and his wife are dead. So I go upstairs and I call our office and started, we packed up the condo and I was back in 3:30 the next morning, in the office by 8, talking with Bus Cook by 8:30 the next day. And it was just, you're in sports for the good stories. That one was just a gut punch.
Yeah. Terrible story. Nate has texted, and his question is your favorite. So your favorite of all, just coverage moment in the state of Tennessee.
Music City
Miracle. Okay. Yeah. There you go. Vols, Vandy, Teresa. So first of all, Josh Heupel and Tennessee. Josh Heupel stabilized the program after a long period of dysfunction.
Decade.
Yeah.
I going back to the Fulmer days, maybe close to 15 years.
So where are you on Josh Heupel right now, and this season ahead for Tennessee?
I think that he made the corrections that he needed to make after last year. And for all the people saying he's got a system, he has shown the ability to change and adapt. And bringing in Jim Knowles as defensive coordinator, bringing in Indiana's, strength and conditioning coach. We're seeing the reports about how they're faster, leaner, this, that, and the other. So, everyone's saying, he's on the hot seat. Well, let's just see. Thanks to the transfer portal and NIL, I mean, my God, Indiana's the reigning national champ right now. That shows that everybody can compete. So it's not what it was when it was Florida and Alabama and Tennessee in the late 90s and early 2000s.
Vanderbilt. Well, like you said, Indiana is after that too. Vanderbilt just went 10-2, had the Heisman runner-up, and is looking and just stole the top quarterback recruit per sum, a 5-star recruit from Georgia. Like these are things that in your entire career of covering Vanderbilt, none of these things are remotely like they're laughable to mention. Where are you with Clark Lee, Vanderbilt, and that program at this point? Post Diego Pavia, which of course people are rightfully pointing out, can you keep it? Can you continue to win and maintain momentum without arguably the greatest player in program history?
And we have to see this. I mean, they're going to have media day on Tuesday, and this is the big challenge now for Clark Lee, who knows well Vanderbilt's history, having played here and being an alum and a Nashville native. So he knows the challenge he has, but the resources that are available were never available to a Vanderbilt coach before. And, the changes in that stadium alone, yes, it's the SEC's smallest, but it's nice now. It's more. They've taken what they have and they have absolutely maximized it.
Yeah, it's so different.
It is. And I mean, I remember the years back in the 90s when they put up a little video board and a Florida beat writer says, I've got a bigger flat screen in my living room than that thing. So
who said this?
Oh,
Pat Dooley?
I don't know if it was Pat or somebody, but it was down to my right. It was one of the Florida guys, but it was just, I mean, it's a line that is obviously stuck. And it was a laugh out loud moment because it was so true. I don't know who could see that without their binoculars. So, but that's the thing, the pieces and what they've done in the portal, NIL money in the portal is the evening of sports in the college ranks. And, Clark Lee is a smart guy. People tend to forget that he was defensive coordinator at Notre Dame. If he had maybe stuck around there, might he be the coach there with the Fighting Irish? So, but the challenge, he has to show that there is life after Diego Pavia.
Well, and look, I think Clark Lee, I think, has demonstrated what he is as a coach, and also you talk about hyper adapting. Clark Lee pivoting the way he did, taking a risk, and really seeing something he liked and saying, let's do that here. I think Jerry Kill also deserves a lot of credit for helping him with a lot of the stuff that you have to handle as a coach. The great thing for Vanderbilt, of course, is I think if Clark Lee is not a Nashville guy who is a Vanderbilt guy who loves it here and loves it there, then he's a prime candidate to get plucked by someone else, right? But I think there's a great chance that he is here for a long, long time.
Agreed. And
however, well, I say that, but coaches in this era with roster etch-a-sketch, it's hard to stay that long anywhere, right?
Not for long doesn't apply just to the NFL anymore. And
right.
and you're absolutely right. That pivot and gamble, it seems obvious now in hindsight, but the huge gamble going and they're getting the coordinator and the coach from New Mexico State.
New Mexico State.
Yeah. And it's
okay,
like,
sure.
It was stunning. And trust me, I covered Jerry DiNardo when going 5-6 at Vanderbilt, got him the LSU job.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. How about, the Vanderbilt coaches, like you said, with the AP, like you guys have rules, for example, like if a team is ranked or not, right? For people who don't know, like if you're covering a home game, if a team is ranked or if they're playing a ranked team, but if not,
well, in football,
not necessarily.
No, in football, I've got somebody there. It might not be me. If it's ranked, then I try to be there at all costs.
If there's a rank, if either side is a ranked team,
correct. And before the win against Alabama, they were 0-60 against AP top 5 teams. And I can't tell you how many, if I had a nickel for every story, every word that I had written about Vanderbilt potentially winning, having to scrap and go, I saw a backward punt against Georgia. I still don't understand how that happened. So it's just, but yes, Vanderbilt, I once told Jerry Stackhouse, you win, I'll be here, but I need you to be in the top 25 or playing a top 25 team for me to show up. And the thing I liked about Stack, he understood.
Oh, not only have you predicted the Titans to have a winning record this year, you have said a nice thing about Jerry Stackhouse. You are You are setting you're blazing trails here on the show today.
My interactions with Stack were always great.
Yeah. I enjoyed him too until then I didn't. But yeah,
I know.
Yeah, that was fun. So college sports, by the way, Teresa. We are looking at this legislation appears to be dead. Like, every, like there's some ACC presidents who don't like this limitation that you can only go up to 19 in the Big Ten and SEC. The SEC and Big Ten want it to be more of a hard cap on this legislation, which again, I look at this legislation and it's like, how are you going to truly, first of all, you are trying with national legislation to tell these programs exactly how much you can spend on your roster in a given year, which is just bizarre to me. But of course, they want a harder cap on this, right? So it appears it's not going to happen. I never thought it was going to. It's the closest we've gotten, but it appears to be dead.
How much
Does this surprise you at all?
No. How much legislation has Congress actually passed in the last 2-3 years? And
in anything.
And here they're trying to put the genie back in the bottle with college sports. And I saw on Monday, Wisconsin's spending like $25 million on their roster. And it's like, oh, that's sweet. If you're competing for a college football playoff spot, $30 million a year. I mean, at some point we need a salary cap, I guess, in college sports. But Danny White, credit him. He has been a very early strong opponent of collective bargaining with the athletes.
He's pushing it.
That's the piece of the puzzle they keep ignoring.
Yeah, you can't I don't know how they do it. I understand the complications, but if you're trying to cap things and you're not letting the laborers, and that's what they are getting paid to play football. You don't let them have a say in it, then it's illegal. So anyway, we can get into more. I do want to get in our future hour about what programs might win championships. I got more questions for you. I got a question on the Olympics for you. But coming up next, we have the Rex rant, and your Teresa tirade. You can chime in as well. Robby and Rex Show 102.5 The Game.
Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment. Let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
We're just out here trying to cover your sports teams.
I like Creed. I like Nickelback.
I will get absolutely wrecked and be belligerent and scream at Scott Stapp if you'd like.
Rexrode.
Marlins, baseball, home run.
I'm going to cancel my athletic subscription because Saying Those Tears isn't out yet.
Am I a clown to you, Mike? Do you really want to hurt me? Do you think you have ownership of the word dookie?
Would you rather have foot pain, gout, or torn up stomach?
Farts. And you're stealing dookie?
The explosive diarrhea virus could be worse than we thought.
You know who else doesn't know diddly?
Woo! There's a mashup for Ian so far. My goodness. I said those words? Don't remember that. Welcome to the Rex Rant, served by the Wine Cellar in Hendersonville. Teresa, this is the, we've had a great show. We've had a lot of fun today, but, the highlight every day is letting Ian take our previous ridiculous words said in public and mash them together like that.
I didn't expect to hear explosive diarrhea this early, but
yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, as a journalist for the Associated Press, it has been a big story, that explosive diarrhea.
it's
right?
kind of breaking out everywhere.
It is. I mean, do we have it under control, by the way? Like, is it explosive diarrhea? No.
Now apparently there's another outbreak and they don't know what's causing it.
Are you kidding? The same thing, the
Cyclospora, yes.
It's not the Taylor Farms lettuce?
Not that I saw last night. So
this is another Taco Bell ingredient that they'll blame on. So like,
it's not. Yeah. And the thing is that Taylor Farms thing, they're everywhere. So it's like, ooh, okay.
Yeah, I know. I've actually, it's not good for me. I've been eating very few vegetables lately.
Same.
I'd like to get back to it, but yeah, kind of laying off. All right. So college sports, I do want to, I got to hit this a little bit. We've talked about it before. Probably has been a rant too, but I just think there are two audio clips, and Ian, you saw the one that's in the grid, right? Two audio clips.
They're not the same clip?
They're not the same clip.
Okay. I only have one of them. Hold on.
Okay. Well, so the one I
have the one you emailed me.
That would, okay. We don't necessarily have to play Laura Rutledge. I can just paraphrase it. Laura Rutledge is great, by the way. I think she's great. Excellent. For ESPN and everything she hosts, but she was on Pat McAfee the other day, and it just talking about the SEC, and she's talking about like how, again, we're in talking season right now, Teresa, right? We're in talking season.
Hate talking season.
Yeah, and it's just the SEC is so weak. It's the decision by Greg Sankey to come with the, well, we're still the best, and for all these coaches to complain about the 9-game schedule, which hasn't happened. Laura Rutledge is talking to Pat McAfee, and she's talking about how exhausted and gassed they are because of their 9-game schedule. They've never played a 9-game schedule. So we're retroactive. Like, this is not reality. Now they will, and I agree it'll be tough, but they all should do the same thing, right? To me, like, you can say the Big Ten is not as strong top to bottom. I would agree with you. I don't know that we're talking like a Grand Canyon of difference there. The Big Ten, though, is definitely better at the top, and that's what matters, right? Is it not what matters?
National titles, scoreboard, baby. That's all that matters. That's all that people remember.
Right, and that's all the SEC was talking trash. And by the way, and Andy Staples brought this up, and it was a great point, Teresa, on it's On 3 podcast. And you may remember this. I'm sure you do. Back when Florida beat Ohio State in the national title game, I forgot that it was right after this, but basically Jim Delaney put out like this statement about how the Big Ten cares about academics and the SEC. I mean, it was just this whole like excuse making, like, dude, it's all big time college football. Like, you guys are all doing basically the same stuff. Don't give me this garbage. But that was the whole narrative from when they weren't winning, right? They had excuses. So it has come from the Big Ten before. I want to be fair here. But the SEC right now is so weak and pathetic with the way some of them are talking about this stuff. Meanwhile, I got to play this from the reigning national championship coach, Curt Cignetti, from Big Ten Media Days this week.
Coach Nick Shepkowski from OnSI. You mentioned the grind in your opening statement. Iowa, Penn State, they'll kind of speak for themselves. The Oregon game last year, regular season game last year, speaks for themselves. Do you look at that grind? You've done it now twice, getting to the postseason. Is that grind of the Big Ten season a net positive by the time late December, January comes around, or a net negative for where the team is at?
No, I think that's a loaded question. I think your job as a head coach and the assistants is to equip your roster, make it as strong as possible with adequate depth at every position throughout the team. When you play that many games, you're going to get some guys dinged and injured. Things happen. Next man up mentality. The Big Ten is the best league in football, and a lot of really good football teams. It's hard to win on the road. Very physical football teams, very well coached. It definitely prepares you for the playoffs. There's no doubt about it. The numbers speak for themselves. I mean, we don't run a hype machine up here in the Midwest. We believe everything's earned, not given. And when we fall short, we say we fell short. We don't cry a river, whine, and complain. All right? And that's why we're the best.
Coach Signetti, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I mean, if there's that's just a mic. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's an ultimate mic drop right there.
He should have walked out right after that.
Yeah, seriously, pick it up. I know he's not holding a mic. It's at a thing, but he should have ripped it out of the thing and dropped it and then walked to the stage. I hope everybody in the SEC is listening to this. And again, I'm not plenty of people in the SEC are realistic about it. Yeah, man, the Big Ten's won 3 straight national championships. We got to get better. We need to come back and try to win. We need to get into the championship game. Our grind is so hard. Look at our attendance. What? Just stop. Just stop it.
Yes, all that matters is what you do on the field. And, we were talking about Heupel earlier, and it's what are coaches doing to get their players faster, stronger, get in better players through the portal, recruiting, and what coaches are you making changes? Defense sucked in Knoxville last year. They brought in Jim Knowles. You have to be adjusting because, nobody's standing still. We just heard that. Nobody's feeling sorry for you. Who lifts the trophy in the end? And I'm sorry, Nick Saban ain't coming back to the SEC. So who got next?
That's right. There you go. And kudos to Signetti for. And again, I guess that was the last question. That we almost got through that presser. Good job by that reporter. It was a loaded question. It was kind of setting up here. Are you going to take this? Are you going to?
That was the news of the day, though.
Yeah.
That quote was thus.
I know, and it almost didn't happen. So thank goodness for Curt Signetti and the powerhouse defending national champion Indiana Hoosiers, Teresa Walker. If I told you that in 1989, that we'd be talking about that ever.
No, literally when they said, "Oh, you've got to schedule a game against the Power 4," there was a rush to get Indiana on the schedule because it was seen as an easy win. Not anymore.
Losingest team in college football history when Curt Signetti took over the program 2 years ago. Pretty amazing stuff. All right, we come back. We will have Turron Davenport get back into the Titans with Teresa Walker, Robby and Rex Show 102.5 The Game.
ESPN's Turron Davenport talking Titans now on Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It is that time of week again. As always, Friday at 8 a.m. We're happy to welcome in Turron Davenport. Turron Davenport presented by Bart Durham Injury Law. And TD, we've got Teresa Walker in the studio here. So we're doing the we've done the look back for Teresa's amazing career as she announces her retirement. We've kind of talked state of the situation. This is the future hour. This is the look forward hour. So I'm gonna actually ask both of you. And we've looked. Teresa, by the way, TD she just predicted a 9-8 Titan season. So we have that on the record.
TD, 3 teams last year, worst to first. I'm not saying first. I'm just saying winning record.
There we go. So we got that on the record. But I'm going to ask you both. When I'm trying to this is great radio. I'm trying to know how to phrase this. How about this? Will the Tennessee Titans reach a Super Bowl in the next 5 years? Let's just start with that. Let's just that's like Big Joe. Are you guys going to win a Super Bowl this year? Every year. 5 years. I'm putting you down for 9-8, Teresa, and now I'm putting you guys down for the next 5 years Super Bowl.
I'm going to say no, TD, because there's been 3 times that I thought that they were going to a Super Bowl. 08, 2000, 2000.
21.
Yeah. I mean, literally. I mean, I was in the Super Bowl in Miami and LA when I thought I should have been covering the Titans. So I'm going to go no.
Yeah, they broke my heart 2019, not because I'm a fan, but because I wanted to cover another Super Bowl. I thought they were going that year.
It was looking good for a minute.
Man, I tell you, the second quarter, I'm looking at packages and everything, and I had to delete that box, that tab, after Mahomes had that touchdown run. But,
run, yeah.
I don't want to say no, but I'm going to say no. I don't think they go. But, I mean, look at the Patriots. They just went last year, and we know that place was a mess before Vrabel got there. So maybe the scheduling gods put it together for them, and they make a run, and you never know, but I'm going to say not likely.
Okay.
This is why we watch sports, because they surprise us.
That's that's the sensible answer. I would say the same thing, but yeah, this league is designed, like TD said, and as you've pointed out, Teresa. I mean, look at the worst to first. It's an annual thing. A team or two at least kind of comes out of nowhere. The Titans were that team 10 years ago who kind of came out of nowhere. Camp has gotten going here, TD. I know not much has gone out there. I love your, I don't like Twitter much anymore. I'm barely on Twitter anymore, but I find TD's, observations after every day. So right now, just the things that are standing out to you most, TD, from a couple days out there.
Good question. What stands out to me the most is that daggone intensity the defensive line practices with. Man, you go over there and you watch them in individual period, man, they're just going and going and going. And yesterday, Jeffrey Simmons, he knocked over one of the coaches and the dummy and won again. And I think that's the thing that stands out the most to me. Jermaine Johnson is very impressive. He's bigger, stronger, faster than I thought he would be. I think Jacob Martin, just the way he's able to impart so much knowledge to Femi Oladejo, to Keldrick Falk. So if you ask one thing, I would say the defense, specifically the front. But if you allow me to expand a little bit, I think, Cedric Gray, I really like his play. He had an outstanding day yesterday. He picked off a tip pass. It looked like Cam Ward led Wan'Dale Robinson a little bit too much, but then, it's one of those things where you don't know if Robinson was supposed to come out a little flatter, his angle out of his break. I don't know, but it was a tip pass. He caught it, and then he came down, and, he could have blown Wan'Dale Robinson up on another one, but he just, just bumped him and knocked it down. This guy is blitzing. He's had multiple times where, the play was blown dead because he got in there. Cedric Gray is someone to watch, and I look forward to seeing how he's able to mature as a player, evolve as a player, and become a star.
I'm right there with TD because this is a guy who just, he got some all-pro votes last year, okay, in his second year because of what he did as a tackling machine. But I am with TD because I want to see, I think that there's an evolution to his game this year, especially in this scheme behind that front. And it's going to be fun to watch, I think.
Yeah, speaking of the scheme, I wanted to ask about that too, because obviously it appears like Jeff is in great shape. It continues to be in great shape, prime for a big year. And TD, the guys you mentioned, obviously the young guys are key, right? Obviously, Falk and Oladipo are going to be big stories moving forward, but they did bring in those veterans. It is an attacking style of defense. How do you anticipate that suiting / making things different, if at all, for Jeff?
Yeah, I think it's going to make things a lot different for him because this is a guy that even when he was supposed to read and react and two-gap, there were times you see him in the backfield like that. You know what I mean? So being asked to do that on every play, I think that's going to allow him to make more plays behind the line of scrimmage. I mean, the guy led all defensive tackles or interior D linemen in tackles for a loss and sacks last year. So imagine what it could be this year. So I think it's going to be big things. And, it's funny because I had asked Robert Saleh about Simmons moving up and down the line of scrimmage. He said, we're going to keep him. No, you're not. I've already seen him line up in 4 different spots. You know what I mean? So the whole versatility aspect, allowing him to kind of pick and choose where he wants to go is there. So I think in all ways, this guy's going to have a better season.
I won't be surprised if Jeffrey Simmons is defensive MVP, the defensive player of the year this year, because he had consideration from some people last year, and he kind of being all pro, I think, helped announce it's like, hey, over here in Nashville, I know it's been easy to ignore us, but Jeffrey Simmons, watch this guy, and he's going to have more eyeballs on him this year because of last year. So I can't wait to see. I asked him in June, it's like, what do you like about this scheme? And it's like, I love playing on the other side of the line. And when he's on the other side of the line, that results in big plays. And it just feels to me, TD and Joe, that I think he is going to have that season this year. Tennessee's never had a defense. God, I'm thinking back. Was Albert? I don't think Albert was
Haynesworth.
Yeah, I don't think Haynesworth
He was great.
He was great, but I don't think he was ever defensive player of the year. So, we've had offensive players of the year. CJ was one, but Derek. But this might be a first.
We've talked about this before, but for both of you, I think, what was it? 2 summers? I think it was 2 summers ago, right? 2 summers ago, the whole thing with our friend Andrew out there and whatever and stuff. And like Jeff had some like pressers that weren't great, social media stuff, whatever, like Jamal Adams, all that stuff, like on social media too much. And it just, I don't want to say it's like it's not a 180, he's always been a leader, an emotional leader of this team, a great player, a guy who's about winning. But in 2 years, how would you guys describe like the maturation into, one, a higher level of player, even like knowing everything that you have to do to get to that, but also it just seems like he kind of gets it in every way now. What have you guys seen in that way in the last couple of years?
Yeah. First off, our friend Andrew is hilarious. you had the algorithms and formulas just flowing through my head, trying to figure out what you were talking about. Then it hit. That's a really good one. But listen, I'll say this, right? There's something that could be said to having the right woman in your life, right? And there's a elevation that we as men have when you have that. And I know
true that.
I think that's big time for Jeff. I've seen him mature a lot in the last couple of years, seen him just evolve into a better leader, not being as emotional and reactionary to everything. So I think that's something. But then just, having the right circle as well, having the right people around you and listening to the right people. And I know his uncle, Jason Hatcher, has always been a big influence, but I think you're just seeing a more mature, a wiser Jeffrey Simmons. And even, when you're talking about the leader part of it, I remember in the season, I want to say it was late December or late November, early December. Remember there was a disagree. He didn't like the way J.C. Latham, the effort he was playing with in practice.
Right.
And, he
out.
pulled up the tablet. He went over to him and he showed him, and he's like, man, that's the type of effort that makes you lose, and they're talking. And, in the past that could have been, a squabble, right? But it was just a back and forth, and he said what he needed to say and left, So I think you're just seeing a more mature overall person. And it's really good to see because, I mean, some of the blowups that Jeff had in the past. And, I mean, he's still going to have them because he has his temper, but I think you're definitely seeing a much mature person overall. And on the field, the effort is always there. I watched him run down the screen 2 days ago, down the field. And he ran down Tajay Spears. So that's something that always is going to be a thing to hang their hat on with him. And Aaron White kind of talked about it. He's like, when your best player practices with that effort, it's like magic because all the other guys watch and they have no choice but to follow. And John Franklin Myers had mentioned that also.
Completely agree. I saw it last year during training camp because I had to ask, I needed a veteran and there weren't many around last year to talk about the importance of mental health. And Jeff just had a really great, thoughtful answer. And you could just see that. I mean, coaches have been raving about what he's meaning in that group position room, but also in that locker room and the way he handled his contract extension. He talked about it Wednesday. It was never a thing. It's just get it done. Was keep it quiet. I want to be here. And it wasn't a thing. There was no headlines. He didn't want that. And that's how it was handled.
All right. Last thing for both of you, because I have to be Debbie Downer at some point. You mentioned Latham, TD, the defensive lines flying around. I mean, I got to admit, I'm it's not like it's new, but I'm worried about this offensive line. Am I overreacting and being worried about this offensive line? I know like pads are coming out. There's so much more to find out here in the next few weeks, but early impressions.
Early impressions are,
Eek.
Cam Ward, put your hands together and pray.
Good thing that Cam has the red jersey on to don't touch him right now.
Yeah, it's look. I'll say this. I saw Latham. He walked in front of me yesterday, and I was like, "Damn!" He looks like he's definitely put on some weight. Maybe that helps him, maybe not. I don't know, but that right guard and center, there's just so many question marks about that. I really don't understand. How they're going into training camp with that. And look, I definitely am not intending to talk down on anyone, but the collection of guys that they got, I don't understand how they came into camp with that being those being the competitors for those jobs. So I think that's an issue. I mean, quite frankly, the only sure thing on the offensive line that you could just say is going to be good is Peter Skoronski. So yeah, you should definitely be worried.
I completely agree. I mean, there seems to be an awful lot of faith that Jackson Slater might take that leap, that Austin Schlottman maybe playing beside Peter Skoronski elevates his game, that, and it's a lot of hope and praying and let's just see. But I mean, does Latham does he take a leap playing in? He has to. I mean, in that bigger portion, I love what Robert Saleh said. He even looks at a weight, he gains 5 pounds. So, that has to translate into him holding his position and protecting Cam Ward, because 55 sacks last year, they cannot allow that again.
No doubt. All right. Turron Davenport, ESPN NFL Nation. Appreciate you. Appreciate Teresa. Great conversation with you guys. Two of the best on this beat, and we'll talk to you next week, buddy.
All right, for sure. And hey, Teresa, take a bow. This is going to be like back in the day when Dr. J had his retirement tour. We gotta, make sure that we celebrate you, and you are the best. And I appreciate all the help you've given me. And I hate to see you go, but it is what it is.
TD, thank you. And I just know that I love the perspective and the reporting and the work that you bring to this beat. You're just a great voice on this media corps, and love the work you do.
There we go.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, we will respond. Thanks, TD. We will respond and talk about some of that. I like the retirement tour. Now I'm thinking of I think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar too. He got like a rocking chair at some place. I mean,
I think he got a gun when he was at the Utah Jazz. My mother-in-law walked on the court when they were presenting Kareem Abdul-Jabbar gifts pregame with her little Canon Sure Shot, and she was taking pictures with all the other professionals out there on a ski trip she was on. So
you got a story for everything.
I do.
You've been everywhere. Someone has been everywhere.
Retirement tour. I interviewed Richard Petty on his retirement year.
There we go. That's a notable interview of your career. All right, when we come back, we'll talk more about the Titans, and this is the Future Hour with Teresa Walker, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. There we go. Broadcasting for the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning in Nashville Studios. It's Robby and Rexrode, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Robby and Rexrode is brought to you by Green Ventures Landscaping. Outdoor patios, landscaping design, lawn maintenance, and more. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. Little Huey Lewis bringing us back. Huey Lewis
Back to the Future. Yes.
That's right. That's right. Good stuff. I mean, Ian, why don't you play these songs like when Teresa's not here?
Does this infer that I'm
he likes to
old,
play,
Ian?
No, Joe said
Creed.
we're going to talk about the future. And so I was just thinking, okay, future, Back to the Future.
Nice.
I went with that.
Very nice.
Chess. We're playing checkers. He's playing chess.
But I've played all these songs before.
What's that?
I've played pretty much every one of these songs during a show.
You're just
at some point.
you're getting them together into one. It's
a great vibe.
Yeah, it is a great vibe. So
we're vibing.
Yes, we are. That's right. That's right. And hopefully, Robby and family are vibing in Orlando right now.
And the lines
at
are
Disney
short.
World. Yes, yes. So a few people asked this question, and I wanted to ask it, and it was kind of goes to what I asked you and TD about the 5 years. And by the way, I'm like, no one reacting is saying yes, the Titans will win a Super Bowl in 5 years, but they might. But let me ask you this: who wins a championship first, Titans or Preds?
I'm going to go Titans. Although Nashville SC may beat both of them.
Well, there's that too.
Exactly. So
we talked about what was it? Goal Moses? Let my people
go.
Soccer Moses.
Soccer Moses.
Yes.
Yeah.
So right now I've got if we've got little cars on the track, I've got Nashville SC is way closer to a finish line than the Titans, the Preds right now.
Okay, let's take it to Tennessee football, Vanderbilt football, Tennessee men's and women's basketball, Vanderbilt men's and women's basketball. We know that Tennessee women's basketball right now is you've never seen turmoil and uncertainty for that program in its entire existence. The way
had
it is
to
now.
Replace every single player who had eligibility.
And a key player, by the way, just tore. And I don't know if it's ACL, but it's a knee injury that's going to keep her out for the season. So I mean,
Avery Mills,
yeah.
I think. Yeah. So a big loss on a 3-point shooter. Okay. Football. I'm going to put Tennessee closer to a championship than Vanderbilt football, just because, Tennessee actually has recent championships. And when I say recent, in my in my career as a journalist, I can't go back to the 1920s.
But it is a new time. Indiana's a national champion, Teresa. Indiana is the national. Okay. 10-2 last year.
Show me.
They showed you
Tennessee was in the CFP 2 years ago.
True.
So Vanderbilt was close, didn't get in. Hoops. Man, that's a good one. I'm going to take Vanderbilt way over the Lady Vols at this point because I really, really love what Shea Ralph did.
They might have a chance this year.
Yes, I fully expect both Vanderbilt teams to have a chance to get to a Final Four based on what they did in recruiting. They get the young kid reclassifying for Mark Byington.
Talking about the men's side now.
On the men's side, but on the women's side, she brought in some size in the portal. She's got
Post from Georgia, who Aria Gerson wrote a good story about her recently. It's a nice addition.
Exactly.
Along with an incredible backcourt.
Exactly. And then you've got the, is it Olivia Jones coming in? I think it's Jones, but she was playing with Team USA recently, and I love that they all greeted her when she came back. But with Avery, Michaela, we saw what they did this last season. They're poised with the additions to take that next step. And my first year on Vanderbilt's only women's Final Four appearance was 93. So
you were there.
I helped cover that team, and so I think they're close. Vanderbilt men, they've never been to a Final Four, and I think they've got a shot. And I say that even as I really, really, really like what Rick Barnes has got. I mean, it was funny back in March, all these coaches are complaining about, I hate the portal. It's made my life horrible.
Rick Barnes is like, let's go.
It makes I do 2 weeks of work and let's go. So I love what Rick has done over there, and Juke Harris coming in. That's the cherry on top. So I love that the SEC has them starting and finishing the regular season slate against each other.
They do. I like that too. I absolutely love that that rivalry. And we could be talking, I mean, it's so hard to know. I feel like the floor is higher for Vanderbilt because they got Tyler Tanner. He's going to be one of the top 2 or 3 point guards in the country this year, and they're going to be good. I know they will. Tennessee probably has a higher ceiling with all the talent they brought in, but also, I don't know. Rick went against, typically Rick goes out and gets a Jemai Meshack for 4. He gets defenders, and he has a mix. He went out and got scorers and high usage guys who are going to have to blend together offensively. A lot of guys who are used to having the ball in their hands, and then also he wants them to play Tennessee defense. It could be incredible. It could also not work. I don't know. I mean, it's a fascinating team.
Last week, Juke Harris was saying in Knoxville that he loves being coached by Rick Barnes. The thing that Rick Barnes has got, I mean, nobody thought Tennessee had a chance to get to another Elite Eight in February. When they lost to Vanderbilt in the SEC tournament, it's like, I don't know how long this is going to last. Yet a third straight Elite Eight, that experience and resume is Rick Barnes, and his ability to coach guys. His resume, I mean, Nate Ament is now in the NBA, so he has the calling card to get guys in and get the buy-in that he needs for them to play the way he's asking them to. That's why I do think the ceiling is higher. I mean, he's been knocking
Yeah. It's
on,
time for a Final Four door.
Yeah. Yes,
it's time for a Final Four. Real quick here, Josh from White House says Vandy will win a national title in football before the Titans win a Super Bowl. There you go. Put Josh from White House down. Vanderbilt national title football before the Titans win a Super Bowl.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Well, we will react to that and more and continue to talk about the future. And we got more strong statements this week about Major League Baseball in Nashville. We'll get into that with Teresa Walker on Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Today, the Nashville Sounds take on the Charlotte Knights at First Horizon Park. First pitch, 6:35 p.m. Catch all the action on 94.9 The Fan, presented by Twin Peaks Family Leisure, Maple Street Biscuit Company, and Social Cantina. Charlotte is a AAA affiliate of the Chicago White Sox, and I know Teresa Walker will join me in saying the White Sox suck.
Yes,
right?
I will.
You Cubs fan, you.
My husband actually thinks you can root for the Cubs and the White Sox, and I'm like,
what?
No, you can't.
No.
No.
You cannot do that. And really, you cannot, in your right mind, root for the White Sox for any reason.
No. A team that once had softball beer league uniforms. I mean,
remember when they had shorts?
Yes. It's like,
I kind of like the idea, I guess, but yeah. Along with so many other things that are objectionable, the worst uniform history of all time in Major League Baseball. What a segue, Teresa.
We try.
What a segue, because Jeff Passan of ESPN, he has said things similar to this before. I think this was actually an interview with a newspaper in Utah. Because Salt Lake City is hot after one of the two expansion teams.
Well, there is a lot of buzz in Salt Lake about baseball. I think that's still the minor league team out there, their nickname. But
okay, I didn't know that. Nice pun. I didn't even went over my head.
I know.
It's like Fireman Ed and the Salt Lake City Buzz today.
Sometimes experience helps, Joe.
Yeah. Again, you're older than me, so you know more than I do.
Get me my Geritol.
Yeah, but he said that he quote Nashville is happening. Like it's done. It's happening. Period. Nashville's happening. Jeff Passan from ESPN, well-sourced reporter covering Major League Baseball. He said things like this, but I don't know if he said it that declaratively. It is happening in Nashville. Your thoughts on Major League Baseball in Nashville? It is. Also, how? When? Tell me.
I thought that for over a decade, I thought that Major League Baseball would be here by 2025, and oops, that didn't happen. But Rob Manfred has now said that he wants expansion before he retires. And with us looking at a lockout in Major League Baseball this next year, it just kind of feels like as soon as that's done, expansion's coming. Now, there's a lot of chat talk. I mean, state of Tennessee and Nashville are tapped out, so they have to find somebody to build the stadium and then pay the expansion team. This is why I think that
$2.2 billion expansion fee. They will collect the $2.2 billion. Who is paying it?
Nashville has so many billionaires that we don't even know their names. We know of John Ingram. We know of the Adams family now, the Ingrams. I mean, it's
and Haslam. I thought previously before he bought the Preds, I thought he would have been a prime candidate,
and he was interested reportedly in baseball first. Hey. Billionaires have way of getting way richer. So maybe it is Haslam that leads the team. Maybe he is the lead portion of a group of billionaires.
Bill Haslam, are you listening?
Yeah.
Are you buying another team?
But they have to build the stadium. And here's the thing.
Where the heck is that going to go?
There was
the Titans, obviously, the
Nashville's expanding and growing down the river. If it ends up, there was one thing from the Nashville Stars, maybe near the TSU campus,
right
down past the Ted Rhodes ballpark, which now Jim Nantz apparently wants to help renovate and redesign and host a big tournament. So, I mean, it's like, I'm not going to say no, because I remember very well when the New Jersey Devils visited in the early 90s, as a possible relocation to Nashville. People were like, that will never happen. And then Phil Bredesen helped engineer this Bridgestone Arena, and we ended up with the Predators. And then it was almost like a race between the NFL team comes in with the Oilers. And then I was in Memphis.
And the city alone, I've been here 10 years, Teresa, the city has changed.
It's changing every year.
Dramatically.
So during the 17 Cup run, every 2 weeks with every different round, it's like, dang, a new building's going up. And I was in Memphis in 2000, and they're like, there's a group in Vancouver talking about trying to relocate the Grizzlies. I said, never. I have stopped saying that. I've seen Allen Iverson in a Grizzlies uniform or Randy Moss in a Titans uniform. I do think that for baseball, their best chance still, until candidate to slide up here, you don't pay a fee, an expansion fee when you relocate. You use that money for a stadium.
Yeah. No, I've thought that too. Something has to emerge, but I mean, it's hard to sit here like Avansi's on the YouTube chat. Like, I just don't think, as much as awesome, I don't think it's happening. it's hard to sit here anymore and say it's not happening. I mean, I think
there's too many people in the know who are connected saying this, and when there's that much smoke, there's a fire.
Yeah, like I can't ignore Jeff Passan saying, "Oh, it's done." Like, but again,
Rob Manfred has said good things about Nashville.
Yeah, every time it ever comes up, it's like Nashville's the one then out west who's getting something. Is it Salt Lake or whatever? But Nashville is just a foregone conclusion. Again, all the things you laid out, we still have to find out. But to your point, there are billionaires. There's a growing number of billionaires in this
Everybody
country,
wants
actually.
to be in Nashville.
The rich are getting richer, and yes, everybody wants to be in Nashville. A really long text here says, can Nashville MLB team be the Sounds? Why do we have to make the worst decisions on names and logos every time we get a new team? I understand the Stars' name history, respect it, but it's so generic. It's like one of those sorry that happened to you or congratulations text. Don't get me started on the Predators because it sounds like an arena football team. They should have been the Nashville Cats or Catfish. All right. Well,
there was an arena team called the Predators, so yeah.
Called the Predators?
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. You're teaching me so much today.
And I'll just say this.
What year was that?
Oh Lord, it wasn't a team down in Florida, I think. So yeah, I'd have to Google.
Like 80s?
Yeah, well, 90s,
early 90s.
Yeah, with the AFL. So I'll just say this: people made fun of the Predators when that was announced. I mean, shoot, did you see the SNL sketch this last season making fun of the Predators? Titans, it was so ridiculed when it was announced.
You get used to these things.
Exactly. Now it's embraced, especially with the new uniforms and logos and such, embracing more of the T portion of things. But, everything is uncomfortable until you get used to it rolling off your tongue.
I mean, I don't like this texter. I don't know why. So you're saying the Sounds that sounds awesome, but the Stars is generic. I mean, I think the Stars would be cool. I think the history is good there. But I guess it's like if it's an expansion team, I love, like you mentioned Utah. The fact that it used to be the New Orleans Jazz, and now it's the Utah Jazz because jazz is huge out in or. The Minneapolis Lakers, where they have lakes, to Los Angeles, where they really don't have many, but they call them the Lakers. You just get used to it. So if it's Tampa Bay, is it just the Nashville Rays? I mean, we have Rays here. We don't have, but not we don't have Rays like they have.
No
Rays.
ocean here. Yep.
No ocean. So wouldn't that naturally? But if that franchise comes here and they want to keep the branding and all that stuff, I guess we just become the Nashville Rays.
Keep the Rays because you have the rays of sunshine, you have the rays of the spotlights hitting all the stars in Nashville. Listen, we can rationalize anything. And yes, the Salt Lake Buzz were actually a Pacific Coast League team from 94 to 2000.
Okay. Also, texter says, let's just call the baseball team the Nashville Pedal Taverns. But
Bachelorettes.
There we go. So in your mind, because there has been talk down your way in Franklin, there has been talk, Antioch obviously is building up a lot right now. There's been talk about Antioch. I'd love to see it in Nashville proper. I would
sticking stadiums out in the suburbs doesn't always work in the end.
It doesn't. Now, sometimes it does.
Orlando Predators, by the way, I quickly Googled. So in the AFL.
Okay.
Arena Football League. Yep. Late 90s, early 2000s.
All right. So there we go. There's a lot of Predators out there.
I would rather have it close to downtown because that's closer to all the interstates. And I've heard the argument we live in Franklin, me and Ian, and we see all the incredible development just stretching down to Columbia. But if you just want it closer to the airport, the whole pitch for a Major League Baseball team in Nashville,
and Antioch would
be closer to the airport. People come. I mean, I go to Cub games in Wrigley because it's a thing to do. If you're coming to Nashville and you're going to, you're having a bachelorette party or bachelor party, you can go do a game. We see it with the Predators, but it's easier if the stadium's right there.
Yeah, no, for sure. I obviously I feel like the Braves and what they've done with
the Battery. Yep.
It's because that's about 20 minutes outside of Atlanta.
But that's the amount. It's just a blob that is Atlanta-esque.
Yeah, I mean it's outskirts, but it can work. But yeah, I would love to see it. And look, I would have, if it could have worked out, if the timing worked out, and you had the billionaire in place, and the Titans were willing to play ball, I mean, I think that could have been cool. But obviously the Titans had zero interest in any of that stuff. And it was premature, and obviously in some ways.
I'll just say this. Looking at having toured the under construction Nissan Stadium, I just love that it's going to be great for all the events that they are working to bring in. And it's going to be, the sightlines are great. And I think that's going to be an amazing stadium for what they're wanting to bring into Nashville. So big events are coming.
Yes, no question about that. So that's something in the future that we can say.
We know one Super Bowl will be played in that stadium.
Confidence. That's right. I think more.
Nashville will be on as soon as they do the first and they see how that works. Nashville will be in the rotation PDQ.
Yeah. All right. When we come back, final segment with Teresa Walker. Get your questions in. I mean, we still haven't ripped PK, so I hope you have like a poem or something to rip his ass before we go. But Teresa Walker, one more segment. Robby and Rex Show 102.5 The Game. On a final segment with Teresa Walker today here on Robby and Rex 102.5 The Game. It's been a lot of fun, Teresa. I mean, we just gone through 3 hours, like pretty freaking fast.
And barely scratched the surface.
I was initially, I was like, let's, talk for an hour now. We could have done this. Maybe we should take over like the whole everything just all day. Or you want to just hang out like Jake Lyman, come in, hang with Jake,
but I could, but I do have that work thing to do.
There is that. You're not retired yet.
No, I am not retired yet. So my bosses do expect some work for the pay.
All right. Well, I'm going to hit you with some quick ones here. Yeah. First of all, we got people complaining about Antioch or whatever. I know someone's asked about the metal recycling place, Cross Korean Vets from Titan Stadium. Is that a good place for the stadium?
First, let's just, they finally have some new ownership. Let's see what happens. But it just feels like there's a whole bunch of buildings. Would that be a great site? I always thought that would be the perfect site. But, let's face it, the 40, 60-story buildings are going up like mushrooms still. And I'll just say this, that whole side of the river is about the next 10 years, it will be unrecognizable to what it is now.
Adam in Portland says, I have a question. What are the chances Will Levis actually a good quarterback who is tied to the dumbest coach in franchise history and one of the worst and arguably one of the worst in league history? Will Levis.
We supposedly will get to talk to him tomorrow. It just feels like he's playing for – I need to see him step up and be productive to push Mitch Trubisky for the backup job. But it just feels like whatever he does in this training camp is helping the Titans – find a trading partner before the final cuts.
Yeah, I think, Adam, you might be overstating things a little bit on both ends there.
Yeah,
I forgot this from Dennis. He wanted to hear, he said, favorite Olympic moments. We'll say, give me one. We talked about, maybe it is. You and I both covered that gold medal game, U.S.-Canada in Pyeongchang. That was amazing. Is there another Olympic moment that stands out?
Oh, 2024. I mean, we nearly had the first overtime Olympic gold medal women's basketball game. Gabby Williams comes up just a couple inches past the three-point line for a bucket that pulled it within one. And if it had been three, and I had to ask her afterwards in the interview room because it was the last question. She'd been asked in French, and the NBC producer thanked me.
Can I ask this in English, please?
Well, and I did. I said, apologies if you've already been asked this, but how quickly did you know it was not a three, and how did you feel? And she goes, disappointed immediately. And that was it, and she left.
S'il vous plaît, and merci beaucoup. Nice job. Dennis also wants your 5 most hated people in football. You're headed out the door anyway, so you can let it rip. 5 most hated people in football. You already mentioned Pac-Man Jones was like your least favorite person to cover.
He's at the top of the
list.
list.
Wizenhunt's got to be in there, right?
He called us the negative in his first August. And I'm like, this is Nashville. We are not nattering Nabob's negativity. So that was
Except PK.
Yeah, he's the asterisk in more ways than one.
How about Stilly?
Stillman in person is a nice guy. On air, it's like, okay, that you do you, boo. Man.
Please keep that one in.
Love John Morant, but it's like, what are you doing there, man? It's like, please just play. We want to watch you play. You're amazing when you're on the court.
You don't have to do 5. If
I was going to say those.
But
I'm a nice person, Joe. I try to see the good in everybody.
People.
I don't.
We have East Nashville Ed quickly. East Nashville Ed on the line for Teresa. What's up?
Hey, real quickly, Teresa. If Malik Willis has a good year in Miami, Willis and Levis were here at the same time, an argument could be made, wouldn't you agree, that maybe the coaching staff didn't coach Levis up? What do you think about that?
Well,
thank you, Ed. My goodness, who knew that we were going to get Levis is awesome, right? He's just been screwed over by other people.
Are we forgetting the Surrender Cobra pick sixes and the hands
Brian
on
Callahan's fault?
Will Levis made those decisions. Okay, he is he has physical gifts that are you cannot argue them, but he's got to get his brain. Sometimes you can't coach a guy into thinking the right moves on the field. That's where they have to have ownership. Malik Willis, that playoff game where he came in was amazing, but it's like, let's see what happens in Miami first. I'm glad he got paid. We didn't see that here. We just did not see that here.
No, we talked about this a little bit the other day. I would argue that going into that camp that Malik Willis ended up getting traded, we had seen nothing. To me, when we talked about Malik Willis, it was like, can he get himself to where he can stay in this league as a backup quarterback. That's
the
bar.
standard. Yes.
And we hadn't seen anything close to that. He had a good camp, and you could see clear improvement. And he balled out a couple times in the preseason games, and he got himself an opportunity. And obviously, the rest is history. It's been amazing to see. But I would argue that Will Levis, like I think we're overstating, like you said. I mean, Will Levis, he's got a lot to work out to become a consistent quarterback. I would argue that right now, him as a prospect compares favorably to Willis going into that camp that got him traded. So, like, there's opportunity for him.
Oh, absolutely. But we've got to
do it, man.
He has to do it. And can he push Mitch Trubisky for the number 2, or does he show enough that they can get something for him trading before the final cuts? That's what's on the line for Will Levis. Why? Cam Ward's the starter.
Yeah, and that's there's not going to be a QB controversy there, no matter how Trubisky plays in the preseason. WB and Thompson Station back on the stadium says, got to have it downtown. You look at some of the historic stadiums that are moving downtown. Kansas City, for example, they are now going to try to go downtown, I think, or downtown-ish, building downtown. And look, in Detroit, where from where I hail, we had a long stretch with the Pistons and Auburn Hills, and we had the Lions and Pontiac and the Silverdome, and thankfully they are now all downtown, and I think that's great for the city. So. Now, I'm just saying that there have been successful, there are successful situations in suburbs, but yes, ideally we're talking downtown.
Well, you mentioned the Battery earlier.
Or close to it.
You mentioned the Battery earlier, and what has been so amazing for the Predators with Bridgestone Arena, you walk out and that's what's there.
Yeah, no, there's no better, like, I have not encountered a better stadium entertainment situation than we have here.
Exactly. And I say that as somebody who loves going to Wrigley. I go to Wrigley.
That's probably the closest example.
I go to Wrigley, but then I go to my hotel somewhere else, but enjoy the city.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, you can walk around Wrigleyville. You can go all through Lincoln Park if you want. There are not many places that have it like that. And I don't know that there's any place that has it like we have it. So to tap into that but like you said too, the building continues. So look, the Titan. This new place, there's going to be mixed use. There's going to be new stuff that accompanies it as well. So
exactly.
Are you going to be? So you will be. You're retiring in October, but you will be covering the final game at Nissan Stadium. Will it be emotional for you?
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, the response that I've gotten this week to my announcement has absolutely overwhelmed me, and I'm just so grateful for people reading along and paying attention. And so we'll see. I will be at every home game, and I am doing some other Titans coverage through this season, and and I'll be doing some Vandy stuff. So I'm not going away. I'm still staying in town, and I do have opinions.
Yes, you do. And we appreciate you coming in. It's been awesome. Thank you, my friend. Congratulations to you. Jake Lyman, next man up, coming up next, 102.5 The Game.